Hey, this is Steve with Dabble Lab, and in this tutorial we're going to walk through setting up an Alexa skill that lets users schedule an appointment with the skill owner, or you if you're the skill owner. And we're going to do that using the appointment scheduler skill template from Dabble Lab. And the way the skill works, or the template works, the skill I guess after the template's set up is basically, well actually let me just demo it real quick. Alexa, ask appointment scheduler to schedule an appointment on Monday at 2 p.m.
I have your appointment request with Dabble Lab set for Monday, August 10th, 2020, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Would you like to confirm this request?
Yes.
Your appointment with Dabble Lab on Monday, August 10th, 2020, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time has been scheduled. You'll also receive an email confirmation. Please reply to the email confirmation to cancel or reschedule. Thank you.
Okay, so in addition, both the user and the skill owner get an email, and in the email there's a calendar item that automatically adds the appointment to their calendar, and that is it. So let's get started. Let's set it up. So first you need to head over to the Alexa developer console. So that is at developer.amazon.com. And then log in there. If you don't have an account, you can create one. And once you're logged in, you want to go to the Alexa developer console. And you can get there by going to this ellipse menu up here, and then the Alexa developer console. And it's prompting me to log in. Okay, and from here, you want to create a new skill, and we're going to be creating an Alexa hosted skill for Node.js, and I'm going to just call this demo skill. And you can leave the defaults. It's a custom skill, and it's an Alexa hosted skill for Node.js, and then create. And then here's where you're going to select the template, and we're going to be using this scheduling skill right here. And continue with that template. And it's going to take a minute to set it up. So while it's setting up, let me just talk through what we're going to need to do. There's a fair amount of configuration that needs to be done before you can start using the template. So we're going to need to set up a way for the template to send email. We're going to do that with SendGrid. And then it also supports FreeBusy. So if you use Google Calendar, there is functionality in there that will allow the skill to check your calendar to see if there's a time slot available. And so we're going to need to configure that before we'll be able to test a skill. But while this is finishing up here, why don't we head over to SendGrid, and this is what I used to when I created the template, or when we created the template at Dabble Lab. We decided on SendGrid. You could use AWS, SES, the simple email service, or MailChimp, or really any email service. We decided on SendGrid because we use it quite a bit, and also it's really simple to set up. So if you have not used SendGrid before, you can just start with a free plan and set it up. I'm going to go ahead and sign in because I have one, and I'll show you what we're going to need here. So okay. And once you're signed in to SendGrid, if you go to settings, there's an option under settings, API keys. And this is what you're going to need. You're going to need an API key to send email. And you will do that by just clicking this create an API key. And we can use a restricted API key because the API key only needs the ability to send mail. So I'm going to just call this demo skill. So I'm going to call the API key. And the mail sending, this here, whoops, not that, this mail sending, this is the only permission that's required. So we'll just toggle that on, this mail send, and then create new. And this is what we're going to need here. If you don't want to show this in real life to anybody, this is permissions here. you can delete these keys, and that's what I'll do after this tutorial. So that's why it's okay to show here. But once you have the API key, copy that, and I'll just leave it open for right now to make sure the skill is done being set up. Okay, so the skill is set up. Now, if we just test it like this, let's do that. I'll show you what happens. So we're gonna enable testing for development and open demo skill.
In order to book and confirm appointments, Appointment Scheduler will need access to your name, email address, and phone number. To provide access, please enable profile permissions in the Amazon Alexa app.
Okay, so we need to enable permissions to test this. We also are going to need to set up some environment variables, but why don't I go ahead and enable the permissions first. So if you go to alexa.amazon.com, can log in here and you can see that it's asking me for permissions. So update permissions, and then go to settings and manage permissions, and we need to toggle each of these on. Save permissions, and then once we've done that, we can come back and test it again. Open demo skill.
Hello. Welcome to Appointment Scheduler. Would you like to schedule an appointment?
No. All right. So I don't want to schedule an appointment yet because it's not configured and it will error out. What I need to do now is I need to go and configure the skill, and there is a couple of things that we need to do. So there's some environment variables that need to be set, and those are set in a file called .env. So there's a sample .env file, and you can use this by just renaming it from .env.sample to just .env, like this. And now we're going to need to replace these bogus values here with actual values. So the first one here, this should be true. This you want to send email to confirm the meeting. So we're going to need our SendGrid API key here. So remember this that we created before. It's copied. We'll go over here and replace the bogus one with the actual SendGrid API. And then the name that will be the person or the sender of the email, and I'll just say me. And the from email address, in my case, I'm going to use info@Dabble Lab. And when you set up your SendGrid account, it's going to walk you through setting up your from name and from email, like your sender information. So you want to use the same email address that you've set up in SendGrid as your sender. And then the notify email address, this is the email of the person that's going to be notified when a new appointment is scheduled, and I'll just make that myself. So this would probably be different than the from, so you want it the from address to be different than the notify email. And then save that. If you're planning to use the free busy check, if you use Google Calendar, this works with Google Calendar, then what you'll need to do is get the values for your free busy environment variables. And you can do that by, if you open up the README and come down to this second step here, configure the free busy check. And this is optional. If you don't configure this, it's just going to schedule the appointment or create the appointment for whatever time the user asks for. But if you want to use this, just head over to this URL here, and I'll show you what happens there. And from this page on the Google developer site, you can choose this enable the Google Calendar API, And when you step through this process, it's going to result in a file being created, this credentials.json file. And when you download that file, all of the values that are required for this section, well, go into here for this section, will be in that file. So you'll just copy and paste the values. You can leave this one, the check free bit, or you want to change this to true if you have the values, but you can leave them false if you don't. So you're going to need the client ID, the client secret, the redirect URIs, the access token, and the refresh token. The rest of it you can leave here. So the token type is going to stay bearer, the expiration date. Actually, this is in there as well. You're going to need to copy that. And then the scope, you can leave that as is. I'm going to leave this alone for right now for the demo, and so I'm not going to do anything with that. So at this point, we have our environment variables configured. So let's test it out. We're going to deploy this. And then once it's finished deploying, we can go and test it to see if it's working. Still deploying. All right. Okay, now it's done deploying, so we can go back over here and test it out. Open demo skill.
Hey there. Welcome to Appointment Scheduler. Would you like to schedule an appointment?
Yes.
Okay, let's get started. What day or date would you like to meet?
Tomorrow?
What time would you like to meet?
2 p.m.
I have your appointment request with Steve Tingiris set for Saturday, August 8, 2020, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Would you like to confirm this request?
Yes.
Your appointment with Steve Tingiris on Saturday, August 8, 2020, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time has been scheduled. You'll also receive an email confirmation. Please reply to the email confirmation to cancel or reschedule. Thank you.
Okay, so that's it. So the email confirmation includes the calendar event. In addition to the email confirmation, if you go to back to code and then to the media storage over here, the appointment also gets saved to the S3 bucket. So there's a folder in here called appointments. And then there is a subfolder with the date. And then for each appointment that was scheduled on that date, there is a calendar item. So an ICS file that you could download and add to your calendar there. But of course, if you've got the email delivery configured, you'll get the email. The only other thing that I want to show you is the you can personalize this. All of the language responses, everything that the skill is saying is not in the index file. It is in a language file. So depending on the region that you're setting up your skill for, so in this case, it's EN-US, you can go in here and you can modify what the skill is speaking back by just modifying the text strings in here. You'll see some of the strings have like this %s. This is a placeholder, like a variable, because you'll notice that like in this case here, hello, welcome to %s. This is a variable for the skill name. So if you go into the skill code and find that wherever that is, here it is. So speak, oh, well, permissions required. That's not the one we're looking for, but well, this is passing one of the attribute, the skill name into it. So you can change the skill name to whatever you want by just changing this up here. and you can modify this text as you see fit. If you want to create different variations of like the greeting, you can just add a new line here. So it just randomly selects one of these. And that is it. If you have any questions, you can leave those in the video comments. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please like the video and subscribe to the Dabble Lab channel at youtube.com/Dabble Lab. Thanks so much.